Hey guys, it's Steph. Welcome back to the Cantina. I am here to give you some news on the election. If you're from another country and you're not quite understanding what's going on here in the United States. All right, first off, I'm going to explain the Electoral College. In our system, I think the only free system in the world right now, everybody gets a vote. And it's within the states. See, actually, the presidential campaigns and the presidential election is actually state by state, statewide. Like, you're voting for a senator or a governor, but it's to lead the country. And when you go to vote for president, you're voting for electors to go to the state legislature. They vote for the person who got the most popular votes within the state. And then those go to the House of Representatives after it's all certified, and then the House of Representatives votes. And that's how it's done. So the big lie that we need a popular vote is interesting to me because he really is elected by popular vote, right? The Electoral College was created so agricultural states like Virginia, Tennessee, you name it, Maryland, Georgia, Florida, you name it, now North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Wisconsin, Michigan to some extent, Ohio, Indiana, all of these agricultural states that are based on a rural population, have the same voice and are equal to the big states like New York, California, Washington, Florida, Texas. Okay. The electoral votes are the same number as there are congressional districts. Our House of Representatives, which is what I'm talking about right now, represents the people of a district. The senators, each state gets 2, represents the state. Okay, you see how that goes? It's what we call a bicameral legislature. The only state in the United States that has a unicameral or one state legislature is Nebraska. And this could actually get to the point where the states actually just convene their legislatures and they vote. Right now, we have 26 states with a majority of Republican legislators. I mean, they have majority in their houses. So Trump would win that. What's going on? Yesterday, they filed suit against the state of Pennsylvania. If you want to look up what the Trump campaign, aka the plaintiffs, are saying, it's the most unbelievable, holy fuck shit mess you've ever seen in your whole life. I've never seen anything like it. I can't even describe what's been described in that. You have to go look it up yourself. And what's interesting is Missouri and Kentucky joined the Trump campaign on that. All right. So we've got suits filed in Michigan, suits filed in Wisconsin. I think they're going to a hand ballot recount in Georgia, and only lawful ballots, only legal ballots are going to be counted. So that should go Trump's way. And you get a sense that the left is starting to panic a little bit. I call their celebration when the media, who doesn't get to say who's president, okay, named Joe Biden president. Can't do that. Premature ejaculation. Okay, you can't do that. So that's what's interesting. And just now, like an hour ago, North Carolina gave their 15 electoral votes to Trump. He won the state. And Tom Tillis, Senator Tillis, won his campaign, won his election. So that helps the good guys. And Bill Barr, why do I say Bob Barr? Hey, who is this? Oh, Dakari. All right. Bill Barr, the Attorney General of the United States, who looks like a mean grizzly bear, just sent the Department of Justice orders to investigate substantial widespread fraud in Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Nevada, and Arizona. Arizona, let's talk about Arizona. From what I gather, Trump has the momentum and will probably pass Biden up soon and take that state. Don't be surprised to wake up and see Wisconsin and Michigan pulled from Biden. Here's the reason why. You probably heard the story. Well, it's not true. You probably heard this. There's a software called Dominion Software, and the CIA actually uses it to fuck with people. It's the same software that 30 states have been using for their ballot counting, for their voting. Michigan alone, 6,000 votes had switched from Trump to Biden in one precinct, and because of a glitch, they said, which is another term for, yeah, we did it, but we won't admit it, and we're scared shitless to go to jail. Those votes are sent back to Biden. Wisconsin, and this is Gateway Pundit saying this, so a grain of salt, please, because Jim Hoft, first off, he was a real dickhead to my friend Dana Lash, and I don't like that. If you're an asshole to my friends, I'm not gonna like you too much. But he basically said 19,000 votes in Wisconsin had the same glitch because Wisconsin uses the same software, which would give Trump the lead in Wisconsin again, which would turn the state red. I'm sure there are a lot of Wisconsinites, Republican and Democrat, who voted a straight Republican ticket going, so that's what's going on. And there's more. There's a lot more. I'm probably forgetting a ton, but it's just, you can tell the left is getting scared. They're starting to sound panicky. Like I said, you don't celebrate a victory you don't have. And they don't have it. If I remember right, that was the anniversary of the press calling Al Gore president-elect. Where's he now? Probably asking some poor girl to fix his chakras or some weird shit like that. It's going to be very interesting. I'm not going to say Trump is going to pull it out, but I have a gut feeling he will. So does anybody have any questions or whatever? Because I'm here. If you're from another country, you don't understand what's going on, and I'm going to tell you right now, your press is not telling you the truth. I find it fascinating how many people that live outside the United States don't have any clue as how this is done. And some are shocked we don't have a popular vote. Well, we don't have a popular vote because we don't believe in mob rule. The founding fathers were very afraid of that. Jefferson, in his letters, beseeched James Monroe and James Madison that could not be. The reason why is this: if the majority of people are wrong and they're trampling on individual rights, that is a bad thing for the country. And that's why we have the electoral system. Do I think this is planned? Yes. Yes. Look, if you look at the history of the Democrat Party, they have been notorious in vote fraud. Every time you see somebody arrested for it, it's always a Democrat. The Republican Party just doesn't do it. We just don't have the wherewithal. It's like this. The Democrats have always been the ones to get into the things that make things work, the bureaucracies, all right, the vote counting, all right, and that's what's going on here. And in the big cities especially, in some of these areas, I think everybody who's in charge should be arrested just because they're a bunch of crooks. I mean, look at how rich Al Sharpton is doing nothing. Okay, was this planned? Well, I haven't looked into this, But there's a huge story that Pelosi is part of the company that owns Dominion Software. The Clinton Foundation has something to do with it. Yeah, and they were dropping hits. And I think this is the thing I find fascinating. I think the president knew they were going to do this. And I think he feels righteous. They're not, if they get away with this, there's going to be hell to pay. If you think the left was crazy rioting, you haven't seen the right riot. All right, and I think people have had enough of it. It's basically disenfranchising 71 million voters in the United States. All right, and you can't do that. You just can't do that. And I think, the problem with the Republican Party, it's an enabling organization. They enable the left to do whatever it wants and only put a very weak resistance up. And the reason why is there's money. There's money to go along with it, what have you. And there are some telling the president to concede. But if this is a threat to our country, if we allowed this to happen, when we all know it's happening, if we allow this to happen, our country ceases to be what it is. Okay? They will have disenfranchised over half the country. Now, having met Nancy Pelosi, having worked with her and her staff, she has no fucks to give about that. We don't count. All right? We don't count at all. Oh, by the way, it's getting to the point where it looks like she may lose the speakership and we may flip the House. And if that's the case, okay, because a lot of these people that are in the House and the Senate might have to have a lot to talk about. Yeah, that's exactly what they are. They're a lobbying firm. They make money. It's part of the reason why I left the GOP is because, my congressman, Scott Perry, is a great man. He's a great guy. We had a pro-Trump rally here in Harrisburg that I didn't go to, but he was there. He spoke. He knows the district. He knows that we're getting screwed by Philadelphia. Here's what happened in Philadelphia. They were told the day after the election by their own magistrates to allow people to observe GOP, to observe the vote count. Philadelphia told them to fuck off. Appeals court came in and said the same thing, told the appeals court to fuck off. Then the attorney general, who will likely end up hopefully going to prison for all this because he knew this was going to happen, he told them to do it, and they said no. Then the Secretary of State here, who's a Hillary Clinton type cunt, she said to do it. They said no. Then, and this is the funny part, this is the part that just makes me go, someone's about to get hit in the face and get knocked on their asses. The Supreme Court, through Judge Sam Alito, who's an associate justice to our Supreme Court, told them to take the ballots in question, sequester them in a secure place, and separate them from the votes that came in on Election Day. They told him and the Supremes to fuck off and die. Now the Supreme Court is pissed. Very pissed. And they're going to get a face shot. They're going to get a face shot. And it's going to be hilarious. I mean, RCP pulled Pennsylvania away from Biden. So, what is it? He gets 20 electoral votes here. No, 259. I don't know how many electoral votes Pennsylvania is. But if Trump gets that state and then goes to his, all right, They're hand counting in Georgia. I expect Georgia to flip to Trump and stay that way. They're, probably they're going to go to a recount and a hand count in Michigan and Wisconsin. The glitches are just, but here's the deal. Mail-in ballots are very easy to fake. All right. It's very easy. There's a video from Nevada, right, of cops grabbing great big huge garbage bags full of votes. They found bags of Navy votes, that overseas ballots from our guys in the Navy, and that were seized in Georgia, that were never counted. And I'm going to say this. You don't know who those guys are voting for. You don't. And that's the thing. Those were legal ballots. So this is a mess, and this is what I expect. When all is said and done, SCOTUS is either going to rule a revote, same day, everybody just goes and votes. Who wants to vote, just go and vote, which Trump will kill it, because people are like, right now. Or they'll do, I don't think they have it. There's really, and that's really kind of a hard thing, because Pennsylvania doesn't have the money to do this. Or they'll take all of Philadelphia County's votes and throw them out. That could be a possibility. I'm not exactly thrilled with that, because there are a lot of people who voted legally in Philadelphia who will be pissed. But they have no one to blame but the people that they entrusted to count the ballots fairly and squarely. All right. This is what I envision if good prevails. The left is going to scream, rant, and rave. We're going to have riots and violence and all the rest of that shit. Cities burning and you know what. They'll blame Trump for doing what he's legally in his right to do, which is contest the election. He's spending all kinds of money, not contesting something that it affects him, but it affects the people more. He's doing this for us, okay? He knows we're disenfranchised. I expect them to blame him and us. They're not smart enough to realize they were screwed over by their own leaders who wanted to cheat, lie, and steal rather than play fair. All right? This was not a fair election by any means. The ballot counting should have stopped at midnight on election day night. All right? If they were so worried about the early ballots that came in, they should have fucking counted them before they started counting the new ones. All right? They should have those counted and set aside before election day. How does that sound? Does that make any sense? Yeah, it does. I expect a lot of state legislatures, at least in the states that the Republicans control, will enact a lot of ballot reform measures and basically do away with a lot of this crap. I expect a lot of Democrat leaders to have to talk to the Department of Justice. See, what Barr did is very interesting. There is a part of the Department of Justice that actually looks into campaign fraud and vote fraud. And the guy that ran it didn't do his job, ever. They never, ever actually investigated actual claims of vote fraud. It was usually the state governments that did. And a DC swamp rat, he's a DC swamp rat. And, hey, hi, Dave. There's already been one arrest, by the way. One arrest. So, when Barr ordered lawyers from the Department of Justice, not from that division, to go in and start investigating the vote fraud, the widespread substantial vote fraud, that's a direct quote from Bill Barr. Pigler, I think that's what his name is, he quit. He resigned. Now, why do you think that's so? I know why, because he knew what was going on. he was going to protect those fuckers, and he can't now. Here's the thing you're going to see, I think, here's the reason why. Here's the reason. Here's the thing that, I don't know who it was, but there's been one arrest. In Michigan, I think. Here's the thing. If you control the apparatus that investigates something, and you've got your finger in the pie there, all right, like 97 Bravo said, you know, it wasn't a matter of putting your thumb on the scale. Somebody belly flopped on it. You know, it's like, you know, they knew they couldn't beat him. They knew it. And that's the thing. Now, for you guys who are from foreign countries, I know this is hard for you to understand. I know it. But this is the way we do things here. And it's a lot better than a parliamentary system, which stomps all over individual rights. I mean, look at what's happened in England and in France. Individual rights mean nothing to those places. This country was founded on individual liberty. All right, it was founded on the idea that all men are created equal. You know, which is why when Nancy Pelosi had come into the office, I looked straight at her like, "Fuck off, bitch." She's, you know, she's a bitch, and she thinks her shit doesn't stink. Well, fuck that shit. Oh yeah, Steve, it is, but this is gonna get fixed. I really think that they've got these assholes by the short hairs, and they've got the MSM too. I mean, and I'm gonna say this again: Democrats who actually think Biden won, or that it was right to call it on Saturday, are gonna lose their minds when this doesn't go their way. And I'm not looking forward to it because it's you're dealing kind of with people who are, you know, you're dealing with people who have a childlike maturity. You know, I mean, Pelosi tearing up the president's State of the Union address. Freaking out about it. Remember that? Throwing a temper tantrum and stomping your feet. I'm like, you know, we're not dealing with rational people. We're dealing with people with a problem with their own maturity, and B, we're dealing with people who are criminals. They're and they know it. And they know it. I'm going to let you guys go, but I'm going to give you this one. There is an interesting thing out there. If you look it up, before the election, like 2 weeks before the election, punishment for vote fraud was trending on Google. All right. All right. Now think about that. Who was looking that up? You know, so we just gotta sit back and relax. Don't worry. And if you're welcome, oh, I will DMs where? If you just let it, you know, and remember, there's a lot of moving parts. We've got the Supreme Court involved. We've got states' courts involved. We've got the Department of Justice involved. States' legislatures are now looking into it and demanding answers. We've got the state legislature here in Pennsylvania, which is Republican, have basically vociferously said the Attorney General and the Secretary of State must recuse themselves from this. I think there's going to be impeachments at least for those two, if not for Tom Wolf, for governor. He is that entire cabinet is a shit burger. It's a shit burger. Anyway, Wookie, let me know where you wrote me, okay? Because I'm not sure where you are. Anyway, talk to you later. Let not your heart be troubled. This is going to be a bumpy ride, okay? But I think we're going to get this done. Anyway, see you around the galaxy, guys. Oh, and if Dave Pensack is still on here, he sent me Pablo Hidalgo's latest book. I'm going to review it tomorrow, or maybe I'll review it tonight. I don't know. It's just for some fun, because you got to get back to Star Wars. Talk to y'all later, and I'll see you around the galaxy.